Do you remember the movie and TV show Fame? Quick quiz. What were the two things we were all promised would come with fame? I'll tell you. Yeah, spoiler alert, you don't get to fly. And a new study shows you don't live forever either. In fact, if you're famous, you die sooner. My name's Dan Riskin. Every week, I find 5 science stories that I think are super, super interesting, and I email them out to a select group of people who have signed up for my newsletter. If you want to be one of those select people, all you have to do is sign up for my newsletter. Just go to followthebatsignal.com, and you'll get these emails too. This week, my favorite story is about the price of fame, and it goes to that really fun, well, maybe it's not fun. It goes to that big question, what would you pay to become famous? Would you give up years of your life to become famous? If you were a musician and you were trying to hit it big, how many years would be too much before you wouldn't take that deal? Well, now because of this new analysis, we know what number to put into the equation. It's not literally true that people get to sit down and sit across from the devil and shake hands with them about whether they become famous or not, but we now know that people who do hit it big die a certain number of years sooner. Now, the way that this study found that number is really clever. It's from the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health. And instead of just comparing the musicians who were famous to normal people, they found pairs of musicians, one of which was famous and one of which was less famous. So they used this website called acclaimedmusic.net, which lists the 2,000 greatest artists of all time. And from that, the researchers chose 328 musicians. These were either solo artists or lead singers from bands. And for each one of them, they picked a musician who was about the same age, same gender, same race, from the same country, but who did not make the top 2,000. And some of them you'll have heard of, but they weren't in the top 2,000 artists of all time. So a good example of a pair for this study is Kurt Cobain, who of course you know very well. He was born February 20th, 1967. There's another artist named John Popper who was born a month later, also white, also male, also from the US, also the lead singer of a band. His band was Blues Traveler. Now, he's still alive. And it's a weird pairing, but one of those men is much more famous than the other one. And that's kind of how this whole experiment set up. For all 328 famous people like Jimi Hendrix or Janis Joplin or Tom Petty or whomever, they've got a person across from them who didn't hit it big. And they didn't just go looking for people who had died either. They just picked people who were born between 1910 and 1975, and they figured with that age range, they're going to have a bunch of people who had died. So there are some famous people who are still alive today, and some not famous people who did die. But anyway, they put it all in for the analysis, and what they found is that the average age of death for people who were famous was 75. People who were not famous, it was about 80 years old. So about 4.5 years difference between the people who hit it big and the people who did not hit it big, with the people who never got famous living longer. And so this suggests that there is a psychological cost to fame. Some of the people died by suicide, some by overdoses, some by natural causes. There are lots of different sort of factors that go into it, but the lifespan of a famous musician is shorter than the lifespan of a person who didn't hit it big. And so with all this in mind, now you get to go back and ask yourself that hypothetical question. Would it be worth it if you were a musician to hit it big if you lost 4.5 years of your life?